Hey guys, hope you're well. Today I wanted to talk about one of my favorite things to talk about, which are target markets and ideal clients. Obviously, if you're in business, you're selling something, right? Whether it's a product or a service or whatever it is, you're selling something. And the thing is that you need to know exactly who would be most likely to buy what it is that you sell so that you can understand where they are and where you'd find them and how you communicate with them. And further than that, you also need to know who your ideal client is. That's definitely something I recommend doing, going through this exercise, but actually narrowing it down to one specific kind of person that you like dealing with and that is easiest for you to deal with. And I know that this is very difficult for some people to do, really. And they're like, oh, but anybody can buy my stuff. Well, anybody is not a market and anybody is just way too vague, right? So you really do need to define who it is that you want to be selling to, right? And the reason for that is if you know who you're selling to, then you know what's important to them, and you know how you'll need to position yourself in a way that will make sure that the message about your product or service will resonate with them, right? You'll be able to use the language that they use to address the problems that they face. If you just have a very vague market, saying, oh, anybody, any men or any women, can buy my stuff. Well, you don't know how then to best formulate your message to resonate with that person and encourage and make them realize, hey, this business or this person knows me and knows what's important to me, and therefore I trust them, and I understand that buying this product or service is probably going to be a good decision for me to make, right? So in understanding who your target market is, you also understand how you need to communicate with them in a way that will make them know, like, and trust you, right? Which will also encourage them to buy from you at the end of the day, right? So if you have your target market too broad, then it's not going to really be resonating with anybody properly, and you're actually leaving money on the table. So even though you're thinking, oh, if I narrow it down too much, like I'm, not able to serve as many people, well, it actually works the opposite way. Okay, and further from that, I would definitely recommend that you go through the exercise of identifying who your ideal client would be, if you had to narrow it down even further to like one person, right? This can be a client that you've already dealt with, or somebody that you would be the perfect client for you. If you had to choose one person and clone them over and over and over again, what would they look like? Who would they be? What, you can even give them a name, describe their life, what do they do for work? What kind of income do they have? Are they married? Are they single? Whereabouts do they live? Demographics, psychographics, all of that. And based on that, right, you know exactly what that person's problem is. If you can also identify, top 3 things keeping them awake at night and how your product or service would help them alleviate that pain. If you know exactly who you're dealing with and who ideally you want to be dealing with, you can really tailor your marketing message, or the communications that you put out on your website, any flyers or marketing materials that you have in your social media posts. You know exactly how to address that person. And interestingly enough, you'll be resonating with them as well. They will feel understood. They'll be like, oh my goodness, this person actually gets me, right? So you understand what's going on for them, and therefore they trust you. And that's not to say that you're meant to manipulate that, or use that in a way that's not beneficial to the actual prospect or client. But it's basically just to ensure that the benefits of what you're selling, which should always be in their best interests anyway, are actually being conveyed properly, and they understand what it is that you're doing and how you're helping them out. Okay, so who's your target market and who's your ideal client? So very, very good points to know just as a basis for your marketing efforts. Enjoy the exercise. Have a good day. Bye.